Welcome to the Self-Belief Podcast, the show that we shift your self-belief in, because self-belief shifting shifts everything. Just Being You, my long-awaited book, is now live on Amazon. The links are all down below. Saying no without the guilt. Today we're exploring one of the hardest lessons for people who've spent their lives people-pleasing. How to say no without feeling guilty. If that makes you take a deep breath, you're not alone. So many people struggle with this. Welcome back to the Self-Belief Podcast. I'm Jenny Field, your self-belief expert from Just Being Me. For a lot of people, saying no doesn't just feel uncomfortable, it feels unsafe. Your body reacts, your chest tightens, you feel a rush of guilt or fear. And that happens because your nervous system has learnt that saying no leads to conflict, rejection, or punishment. If you've ever lived in an environment where your needs were dismissed, or you were made to feel responsible for someone else's emotions, then saying no can trigger old fear. It's your body remembering what it felt like to disappoint someone, to be rejected or punished. So the first thing I want you to know is that your reaction is not wrong, weak, or pathetic. You are not overreacting. You're remembering. So let's talk about guilt, because it's often what stops people from setting boundaries. Guilt feels uncomfortable because your brain has been wired to associate it with danger, and therefore fear. When you say no and guilt floods in, your nervous system is trying to protect you from what it assumes is an inevitable rejection. But that guilt doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you're doing something new. You're teaching your brain that self-respect is safe. Over time, that feeling of guilt lessens. It's replaced by relief, by pride, and eventually peace. Take a breath here. Notice how your body feels when you think about saying no. Where does that discomfort sit? That awareness alone begins the process of change. Saying no is not about rejection. It's about self-respect. Every time you say no to something that drains you, you're saying yes to something that matters. Your energy, your boundaries, your peace. You are only responsible for saying it with honesty and kindness. Boundaries aren't about control. They're about clarity. They teach others how to respect your time, your space, and your needs. If you think about it, a clear no is far kinder than a resentful yes. So how do we practice saying no? Start small. Practice saying no in safe situations. Maybe it's turning down an invitation that you don't want to go to. Maybe it's asking for space when you need quiet. Maybe it's saying not right now instead of automatically saying yes. You don't need to over-explain. A simple thank you for asking, but it's not for me, is enough. Each time you hold a small boundary, you show your brain that you can survive the discomfort, and that's how you rewire the pattern in your brain. Remember, boundaries aren't walls. They're bridges built on mutual respect. And when you have someone accept and respect your boundaries, you know that they're your people. When you stop saying yes out of guilt, you reclaim your energy. You begin to notice what you actually want instead of what you think you should want. You find space for rest, creativity, and joy. Saying no gives you back time, but more importantly, it gives you back yourself. If you've been overgiving for years, this will feel strange at first. But as your nervous system adjusts, it begins to associate boundaries with safety instead of danger. You realise that peace doesn't come from pleasing others. It comes from respecting yourself. So here's what I'd really love you to reflect on today. Where in your life are you saying yes when you actually mean no? And what would it feel like to start saying no kindly, but firmly? Take a deep breath and imagine what it would be like to live without the guilt, to know that your no carries just as much value as your yes. You are not selfish for having boundaries. You're not difficult for protecting your own energy. You are simply honouring your own worth. If this episode has resonated with you, my one-to-one self-belief coaching and membership are both safe spaces to explore this more deeply. You'll learn how to set boundaries without fear, how to calm your nervous system, and how to live from truth instead of guilt. Change begins when you say yes to yourself. And sometimes that means saying no to everything that isn't right for you. Thank you for listening. Until next time, take care of you. And remember, change begins when you say yes to yourself. Thanks for listening today. If you'd like to know more, you can find all the links down below. Oh, and don't forget to press subscribe so you can catch the next one. See you soon.